Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Ginny with the Daily Word. We are in the middle of our Still Here sermon series where we're discussing kind of the different facets of Christ's presence and what those mean to us. And so you've heard about the sort of cosmic presence of Christ, and then this week we are focusing more on our personal relationships with Christ and what those mean to us as pastors, but more importantly, just as humans. And so when I think about what Jesus means to me personally, the story I think of first is John chapter 21. I'm not going to read that whole chapter, but I encourage you to go read it, whether you're familiar with it or not. Just one of my favorite passages in the Gospels and in the Gospel of John. And some of the things I love about it are, well, first of all, on a lighter note, I love that Jesus is there having breakfast with his friends because I also love breakfast, and I love that that's where the gospel leaves us. But, this is after Jesus has died and has been resurrected, and he appears to the disciples out there on the beach. They're actually fishing. They've gone back to that occupation. I imagine that they were kind of, feeling a little bit lost, at least some of them, and so they return to the work that they knew before they knew Jesus. And Jesus comes and he finds them there, and he tells them where to find some fish because they haven't had any luck. And then he cooks them breakfast on the beach, and then he starts talking to Peter. If you know that story, you'll remember that earlier in the gospel, when Jesus is betrayed and arrested, that Peter denies knowing him 3 times. And then in John chapter 21, as Jesus and Peter are talking 3 times, Jesus asks him, "Do you love me?" As if to kind of hold this parallel imagery to what has taken place before, as if to, in a sort of gentle way, remind Peter, like, I know this, I remember this, but these choices that you made back here, they're not going to define you. You and I together, we're going to move forward. And there is so much love and gentleness and forgiveness and grace in that story to me. And that is sort of the first image of Jesus that comes to me when I think about what Jesus means, because I love that Christ comes to them, that he knew exactly where they would be, that he comes to them exactly where they are. He doesn't ask, why in the world would you go back to fishing? Why wouldn't you be out doing the things that you did with me, the things I taught you to do? He just asks them, oh, have you caught any fish? And they say no, and then he tells them what to do next, or gives them a suggestion of what to do next. And then he and Peter have this exchange. And I think about the ways in my own life that Jesus has met and continues to meet me exactly where I am, in ways that are at the same time surprising and also completely familiar, if that makes sense. That Jesus is at once always catching me off guard, always surprising me, but at the same time is so familiar, is so close, knows me and my ways of being in the world so closely and so intimately. And I just love in that story, the new chance, the way forward, I guess, the new path that is presented to Peter when he probably thought that all was lost. And how many times does Christ do that for each of us, day in and day out? It made me think about this quote from Anne Lamott from her book, Traveling Mercies. This comes from a chapter that's very near the end. And she says this: "This is the most profound spiritual truth I know, that even when we're most sure that love can't conquer all, it seems to anyway. It goes down into the rat hole with us in the guise of our friends, and there it swells and comforts. It gives us second winds, third winds, 100th wins. So those are some of the things I think about when I think about what Jesus means to me, the ways that I am continually surprised, continually comforted, and the grace that continues to guide me and lay a new path out before me day after day. Friends, thank you so much for starting your morning with us. Grateful that you're here, and I hope you have a great day.